Have you ever? Now this may sound kind of funny, you all, but really this is the truth. Have you ever had an alien object in your body, embedded in your body, and left there in your body, and they left it in your body? You may say there is no such things as aliens. Well, whatever you want to call them, you want to call them demons, do you? We have these strange objects that get embedded in people's bodies who live to tell the story during surgeries. So you see this one right here. An alien object embedded in the spinal column. Mystery object removed in a 2-hour procedure. Doctors are baffled. We have no idea what this is. Well, it kind of looks like a arrowhead. It really does, like maybe a fancy arrowhead, but it kind of looks like the end of an auger. If the end of the auger would have like a point on it, like the end of a type of a drill bit, you know. It looked like they used it to drill inside this person's body. You know, it must have been painful, unless they knocked them out when they had a hold of them. Looking at it, could you imagine somebody drilling in your body? You may say, well, I felt that before. I have felt that sensation of somebody drilling in my body. And I woke up, I wonder why my body is hurting, or wonder why I've got this, my head is killing me. Wonder why my head feels so sore up there. Or wonder why my back is hurting really bad, or any other part of your body. Have you ever had an alien object in your body? Or do you know of somebody who has one in their body? Now, let's look at this, you all. No, this is serious. This is really serious what's taking place. And this is not an isolated incident whatsoever. It's not. Not at all. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at this right here. We are going to make it big. Going to make it big like this, you all. Going to come over here and make sure I'm not talking to myself. If I am, I'm still going to talk to myself. I am talking to myself. That's fine. They don't like this subject matter. Carrie Humphrey, no, I pray not, and you don't want it. Okay, let's let Carrie, honey, let's look at this. Okay, you are we going on 3 minutes? There is no notifications coming out for people. There isn't. That's all right. We're going to still read it. We are going to read it. Oh, let me skip this, you all. Right there. Okay, we got it. We got it, y'all. Let me put it right here. Let me come over here. Alien object embedded in the body. Right here. So, you can see the time. It's on May the 12th of 2006. 50 cents you paid for that newspaper article right there. Alien object embedded in spinal column, mystery object removed in 2-hour procedure. The doctors are baffled. It does. It looks like the end of an auger. Looks like it was on the end of a drill. That's what it looks like. Something like that. Good evening, Michelle Stone. An Baptist man, Santa Cruz, all right. An Baptist man says he suffered from back pain for years. Sometimes he had trouble walking. Sometimes he missed days at work. And once in a while, he couldn't even get out of bed. Well, if I had something in me like that, I'd be in a lot of pain too. I really would. He couldn't get out of bed. The doctor said that they tried muscle relaxers, heat therapy, They made me exercise and stretch. Nothing worked. I figured it was just one of those people. I was one of those people who had chronic back pain and would always have it. But one day, White's luck changed. After appealing to nearly a dozen doctors over the years, he ended up in the victim of a hit-and-run fender bender. He had a stiff neck, and he went to the doctor for x-rays, and those x-rays revealed something more serious than a pulled muscle. I'm doing great. The 2-ounce device was removed from White's spinal cord without incident. Of course, because, you know, they just twirl it backwards probably. They could probably twist it backwards and maybe get it out that easy, maybe. Dr. Hajduk of Dominican Hospital said, "We have no clue what this object is. We don't dare even speculate. Whatever it is, it seems to occasionally emit an ultra-high frequency energy wave that pitched far above the range of human hearing. I need to study this object further, as this is the most interesting medical phenomenon I have came across in 22 years of my medical career." So this device right here, it occasionally emitted ultra high frequency energy that pitched far above the range of human hearing. So do you think that that ultra high frequency also contributed to his chronic pain and stuff like that? Or just the mere fact that that thing was in his body? Yeah. Just the fact that this thing was in the man's body, you all, just think about it. You have had chronic back pain, couldn't get out of bed at times, you couldn't walk, couldn't go to work at times, and they gave you muscle relaxers and everything, and it didn't relax nothing. It didn't stop it. But when he was in a hit and run, they did x-rays to see if his neck was okay, and they found this embedded in his spinal column. And it emitted ultra-high frequency pitch, much higher than the human can hear. Occasionally it did. And they didn't even want to speculate what it could be. You know, I'm sure they have instances that they've heard of things like that being found in people's body. From those who, I don't know, I don't even know if he remembers being abducted by an alien. He had something done to him and his memory wiped clean. Really, think about it. Something done to him and his memory wiped clean. Let me show you. It's not a worm, unless it's a mechanical worm, really. Unless it would be a mechanical worm. Let me show you. This is what it looks like. This is what the device looks like right here. It's a piece of metal right there. You can see it. It was looking like this on the thing. It's some kind of a device. It's kind of a coil, maybe a Helmus coil. I think it was like a coil. Why would they do that? Really? Why would they do that? Hello there, Light Seeker, honey. Yeah. Let's see. Did anybody else have something like that embedded in their body? Now, there's times I think, okay, I feel like I got something in my body because I don't think I shouldn't be feeling the way that I feel in some parts of my body. I shouldn't. And I'm thinking, are you doing something? Is something happening in my sleep and I'm just not remembering it? If you have been abducted, are you an abductee for life? And does it follow generation after generation after generation? Like a generational curse? Does it? You would say that was put there to emit certain frequency to be able to connect somehow. And Brittany Nicole, honey, this is crazy. You have been intrigued by this. You have been ringing in your ears for the last 4 weeks. What if everyone who has, I don't know, what if you have chronic pain and you can't explain it? and that you have something like this in your body and you've never had an x-ray done. Really, think about it. Never had an x-ray done. Thank you all for coming in. That's right, you all. Let's look at this, because this is kind of wild. It's really wild, you all. And to say that aliens don't exist or extraterrestrial or other life forms don't exist, well, they haven't looked at or heard about all the accounts of people being abducted, because it's endless. It's endless. There's an endless paper trail. There's an endless video trail. There's too much documentation to dismiss it. Lower back pain down the sides and upper legs for the last 3 months, off and on, you all. Something is going on. It is. And it's not right. Good evening. See, this was just one. This was one. Let me see if I could find one. Let me see something. I ain't got to it yet. People being embedded. So let me just type this in. People being embedded. People embedded with alien objects in their body. Is there any single instance? Oh, we got tons of them. We got tons of... Oh, Lord have mercy. We don't want to look at some of these alien implants, but we're going to look at some of these. You all look. Is there finally proof of alien implants in the human body? Let's see this. This is from How Stuff Works. He's an investigative filmmaker who documents he calls ordinary people. He's produced documentaries on everything from nanotechnology to aerospace to exploration, super weird, unexplained deathbed occurrences and stuff. But they want to talk about whether he thinks aliens abduct people to implant them with foreign objects. And if so, are these objects extraterrestrial? And if they're not, where do they come from? I think that's a very good question. So I'm not going to look at that, you all. Off-world implants with Jeremy Corbell. So I'm going to read this. I'm not going to play it, because I think when you play it, it's the same thing. Originally somewhat of a skeptic, he asked to document a surgical procedure by the now late Roger Lear, a podiatric surgeon and alien implant specialist. He was going to remove a mysterious object from a man's leg. So Corbell was curious, and he agreed to let him film it and document it in his Patient 17. Patient 17. What he witnessed made him feel that, however outrageous they may sound, claims of off-world implants and alien abductions clearly necessitate serious investigation. Why? The object removed from Patient 17 was unusual in appearance, and Lear sent it into the New Hampshire lab for testing. The report contained rare earth elements, some even toxic to the human body. Even more compelling, they seemed to emit electromagnetic frequencies, indicating that the object was some kind of communication or tracking device. He admits that he felt some of the equipment was mishandled, which could have caused blips detected from the object prior to the elemental analysis. And they use isotopic analysis, variations in elements. The protons are the same. The number of neutrons vary. Stable, radioactive, the atomic, whatever. So let's look at this, you all. They said, is it in fact extraterrestrial? What's he saying? The only method would be, the only way to get real proof of the implant was otherworldly. He claims that Patient 17 combined efforts to obtain a sample of the object has been in vain. They cannot verify further until they have an opportunity to test the sample at labs. And they have ever had access. They haven't had access to any of the objects. They removed and claimed were extraterrestrial and nature. Look at this. Nanoman. They had somebody called Nanoman. What's this film work? 17. Patience 17. You can hear it. Extraordinary beliefs. A surgeon who claims to remove highly advanced implants, nanotechnology microchips embedded by the aliens. Embedded by the aliens, non-humans monitoring our Earth. Certainly we would not have non-humans monitoring our Earth, you all. Surely we wouldn't have that going on, would we? I wouldn't think we would. Do you think we would? Why has he got like that? Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer. Corbell film. Armed with a patient, a scalpel, black lights. Why black lights? Why would they use black lights? Does that make you wonder why they would... Why does somebody know why they would use black lights? And a stud finder to seek to verify the authenticity of an alleged off-world implant. Black lights, because I've heard something about black lights going up in places. This is strange. It's really strange. You have metal taste too. Metal taste also. Let me see this. I can't play this because it's got music on it, so I can't play it. What is the Nano Man? I am Nano Man, a military-funded nanophysicist known as Advanced Propulsion Systems Code Fusion Research. The existence revolutionized. Oh, wow. He's a Nano Man. Space Drive. Visitor expires. Jeremy Corbell. So, oh, wow. Did they turn it on? That's okay. That's all right, you all. They don't want us to see that. That's okay. We don't have to look at it, but we can go on the images right here. There's a ring in this one. Arg. I want to see alien implants. Not all this other stuff. Oh my gosh, you all, this is like, oh, we don't want to look at this stuff, you all. This is like, this is not a good thing to look at. We can't look at this. We really can't because it's too gross. I don't want to look at it. You know why they put these gross pictures on here? They put these gross pictures on here so you can't look at it. Because they don't want you looking up alien implants. They want to put all these other things on here so that you can't see something of that nature. That's why they do that. They don't want you looking into it. They really don't. Look at this. Alien implanting objects in people's unexplained mystery. Are aliens tracking the abductees with implants? Are they? Let's look at this, you all. You got a chip in your hand. The most controversial aspect of a UFO ET phenomenon by far is that of an alien abduction. So implants will show up in the x-rays if you have been implanted. If you have been abducted by an alien and they've done something to your body and your body's in pain, but you don't know why your body's in pain, and they've given you everything to try to stop the pain and you just can't figure it out, and one day you get hit by a car like this individual right here and you got a mystery object in you, and when they go to take it out, they notice that it's occasionally emitting a super high pitch frequency that the human ear cannot hear. See, I can hear one right now. in this part of in this ear over here, super high pitched. You ever wonder why they test us when we're really young? Oh, they test you in school when you're really young to see which frequency you can hear. Raise your hand or push that button if you hear a super high pitched frequency. Do you think they did that? Why did they do that, you all? Really, why? Why you got to do that in our elementary schools? Because I had it done. You had it done. You had the testing done. Even when you got to a young adult, they did the testing. There's got to be something to it. There's got to be something to it with the alien technology emitting super high frequency in your ear. Really? So let's look at this. Typically, under regressive hypnosis, is there anyone in here who has been under regressive hypnosis, you all? Have you been under regressive hypnosis? Have you? Who's been under it? Because they say if you go under regressive hypnosis, an abductee speaks of aliens immobilizing their body, levitating them from their bed to an operating table aboard a UFO straight through the wall. So let's think about it. Levitating their body. Didn't they say that these great big stones that were used to build the pyramids and stuff and all this other stuff, they were probably levitating the stones? Didn't they say that? So if they can levitate you from the bed, are they the same species that perhaps maybe levitated those big old stones to build the pyramids and build all these other great big enormous structures? You think so? Could have been. They really could have been. Let me do this, you all. I don't know how far of a delay, how much of a delay we have in this video. It could be a great big delay in this video is what's happening. Frequency. Yeah. I'm going to look at something because I'm kind of curious. We've got these aliens levitating your body while they abduct you, you all. That's what we've got. Let's look over here for one moment, please. Okay, where there's no delay. You have tendinitis, plausible thought, levitating, telepathy, other senses of internal technologies we have lost as humans and still can activate, especially more now that our frequencies are rising with the ascension. Levitated the stones with the sound, frequency, and technology. Okay, we got the average view is a 444. All right. So let me see this right here. Let's go back to it because we can. Let me see this. So look at this. Typically, under this regressive hypnosis, an abductee will speak of aliens immobilizing their body, and they will levitate them. They'll take them to an operating table, which it's normally a steel table. You're going to be put on a steel table, you all. And you'll go straight through a wall, a window, or a door as if it wasn't there. They will perform an invasive procedure on their reproductive system. And returning them to their bed. Though a lot of abductees speak of having been taken not from their home, but from a location many miles away, sometimes from their car. The Betty and Barney Hill. Thoroughly documented and stuff, you all. So they got you. You're laying there on the table. Look at that. Typical operating table procedure. And it really is. Like when you go into an operating room, how is it that, we have the same type of things that are happening? When you go have an invasive procedure, you lay on the little whatever gurney bed or whatever, till they roll you into the operating room. Then they stick you on the table. They do their thing, and then you go back just like that, you all. You go back just like that. Let's look at this. They suggest that the vast majority of cases, victims have no conscious recall of abduction events because they wipe their memory. Only under regressive hypnosis are they able to remember what happened to them. And it appears that aliens have a terrifying telepathic ability to penetrate the abductee's mind and not only disable their capacity to recall, but also embed what's called a screen memory, a false memory designed to displace any memory of the abduction event. So, what is it then that leads an abductee to think that they may have been abducted, propelling them to think perhaps seek out an abductee support group or a practitioner for regressive hypnosis? If they cannot consciously recall their abduction, what leads them to suspect that they may have been abducted in the first place? Sometimes it's the actual physical evidence and mysterious traces of contact left on their body, you all. So this is really important. I'm sure a lot of people on here, if you've been abducted, you have like marks on your body and you have a memory. What if that's a false memory that they put in you? You've got a false memory of something that's on your body, scars or something, because they put it there. But you feel you were abducted, but you can't remember. The only thing you can remember is something like whatever. That's right. A screen memory. So listen you all, this is how you're going to know if you got something in your body. Let me put this to me. After you got something in your body, we're talking about, you ever have something left in your body, have something done to your body, really? Have you ever been abducted? Let's think about it. You ever been abducted? Typically, they say, the day after your abduction, you'll kind of notice marks, which may or may not feel sore. You can notice that, and that you cannot explain. You can't explain why your neck is so sore. You can't. You can't explain why your shoulders hurt so bad. You can't explain how your shoulder got dislocated. Now you got to have surgery or something. You got to go to the chiropractor. You don't understand how your knees got busted. You don't understand how come you got all this swelling and stuff in your body after the abduction. That's what happens, they said, after the abduction. Dislocated, yes. Light seeker, we had somebody who literally woke up, their shoulder, they couldn't move it. We was doing, are you feeling it? And we would be people wake up from their sleep. It's been several months back. Their neck is so stiff, they feel like they got whiplash. And a lot of people experienced it from all over the world at the same time. They couldn't move their neck like this. And their back, I mean, you couldn't hardly do anything, or your joints are literally swollen. It was all around the world. And this one person went to the doctor, and the x-ray, their shoulder was dislocated during the dream state. And our memories have been wiped clean, totally wiped clean. Oh yeah, they really did something to that person. This is not a joke. Okay. So typically there are bruises that are believed to have been left by restraints applied by their abductors to stop them moving while undergoing procedures. Also typical are puncture marks thought to be caused by needles, often a triangular formation like a bite from a three-fanged snake, and groups of marked arranged in a grid or geometric pattern. Demons. No angels would do that to you. They wouldn't. Angels would not do that to you. They would not. If you had any unusual marks on you like that, and you wonder how on earth you got there, and you clearly see it pierced your skin. You got puncture wounds. And no, it's not from a spider. It's not from a spider, you all. Okay, that's the trace of a typical puncture. Oh my gosh. Abductee target-like mark. Oh my gosh, you all. Have you had a mark like that on your body? Oh my gosh. That is, oh wow. If I woke up with something like that on my body, you've been paralyzed while awake in the bed and you think they'd literally scare you to death. Oh my gosh. What? Debbie, you have that on your leg? Did you have it tattooed on your leg? The mark of the triangle one you have, Barb, is these are the marks so far. These 3 marks. You have sleep paralysis. This is right here. Abductee's target mark. Abductee's complex pattern. You got this right here. You had a dream that you had holes in your legs. Oh my gosh, like indents. And when you squeezed it, a knife came out. There were 2 big knives. Oh my gosh. You have the triangle, Debbie. Wow. You all, we need to know. We need to know what to look for if you are being abducted still, or you know somebody who thinks they were abducted and they got marks on their body, because some people have marks on their bodies. They do. If you got a mark like this right here, like this, you wake up with it, okay? You got bruises that you cannot explain. This is the day after the abduction. You'll notice marks which may or may not feel sore. And you know, your body may be hurting really bad, really, really bad. You have been since your childhood abduction. That right there reminds me of when they do allergy tests on you. Yeah. That's right. It doesn't matter. They've got you planned out. My grandmother always talked about the men in black. She did. And she was scared to go outside because they were watching her all the time. We thought she was losing her mind. She was only in her 40s. And I hadn't known nothing about no men in black. And now I know about it. And now I know why she said it. Because they were following her. Following her. These marks, okay, look at this. These marks generally will fade with time, but some experiencers report having a kind that leaves a scar, a so-called scoop mark. This is thought to be caused by a procedure similar to that used in human medical practice called a punch biopsy. That looks like the tetanus shot. Not tetanus. Do you know that shot you get in your arm? It had those dots on it. What was that called, you all? You know, and it made your skin raise. What is this, that one thing, that like vaccination thing they did, that they put it in your arm? Okay, thank you, Christine Mott, honey. Because what if that was like, not that, but what if it really was like an abductee mark? Even though you remember it, you do remember it. Okay, tetanus. Look, this is caused by a procedure similar to a punch biopsy. So a subject example of a scoop mark. Oh, they took a skin sample. They took a skin sample right there. The aliens, we're talking about the aliens, you all. If you're just tuning in, have you ever found an alien object in your body? And or this is leading to the marks in people's bodies who got abducted. They reported these marks on their bodies. Yeah, so they took pictures of them, is what they did. Another mark altogether was discovered by researcher, the investigator of abductions for Houston UFO Network, HUFON. Now let me ask you this question. If there is no such things as UFOs, if there's no such things as aliens or extraterrestrials or demons, then why on earth would they have agencies like this? Why would they investigate all these paranormal things, all these things that are happening if none of it existed. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. But the mere fact they've got groups that investigate stuff like this, you all. Okay, look at this. Look. These abductions for Houston UFO Network, HUFON, these marks are fluorescent, and they can only be seen under an ultraviolet light. An ultraviolet light. Most fluorescence in the brilliant yellow-green part of the spectrum. Others are in the red or the pink. They have been found in numerous locations on your limbs, your torso, your face, appearing as both random splotches and deliberate designs. Okay, lipstick honey. Some are superficial and they can be wiped away, but others are not. Whatever the substance that causes the effect lies under the top layers of the skin. Left alone, the subcutaneous afterglow will generally fade within 1 to 14 days, you all. Fascinating. The splotches are thought to be where the abductee had been boldly handled by their abductors, and the red-pink fluorescence is common only to the abductees who've reported handling human, alien, hybrid infants aboard the UFO during their abduction. So you mean to tell me that they got human, alien, hybrid infants? Sounds like it. It does sound like it. They have a breeding program. And I'm sure there's women on here and men on here who are watching this video. They're a breeder. The aliens used you to breed. They're whatever they breeded. You may say it's demons. Well, you were used to be bred. They bred you. That's right. Abduction researcher. Let's look at this, you all. Abduction researcher and author Eve Lauren has more to say on the fluorescence findings. So could some of the puncture marks indicate the point at which an implant of some sort has been inserted? A miniature device whose function is to identify and track the abductee, in principle like the RFID microchip under the skin of a pet dog or cat. So look at this. Pioneering implant surgeon finds compelling evidence. For most scientific thorough investigation into the implant aspect of the abduction phenomenon, we have to thank the late Dr. Roger Lear as a privately practicing podiatric surgeon right there. He specialized in the study and treatment of disorders of the foot, ankle, and lower extremities for over 40 years. Over 40 years. MUFON. Why do they have a MUFON? Because something's going on. From a young age, he had an interest in all things UFO, it says, sparked by famous 1947 Roswell, and was aware of the theory doing the rounds as far back as the 1970. The alien abductors, this is what they said, the alien abductors implanted what did they implant? They implanted their victims. They implanted their victims, you all. Typically, typical of a rational left brain medical professional, he himself was very skeptical of the possibility, but it was chance for meeting with a UFO in 1995 ultimately changed his skepticism and indeed his life, you all. Changed his life. So he's been investigating it, you all. And they were surprised to find their flesh was hosting a small anomalous object. Look, Sims investigated the cases of a man named Pat Perinelio and a woman going under the pseudonym Mary Jones, and both were middle-aged Texans who claimed to have had alien encounters, and when they were x-rayed, they were surprised to find their flesh was hosting a small, anomalous object. Pat's was in the back of a hand. Mary's in her big toe. Neither had had previous surgeries or accidents which might in some way account for these objects. They agreed they would operate on these two abductees and excise the objects and submit them through scientific examination, and the two patients would travel to the private clinic. Okay, so you can see right here, they got the x-rays. They're going to go in there and they're going to get the objects out. They waived the medical procedures is what they did. Waived them. Dr. Lear removing the implant from the patient's hand. The surgeries were relatively straightforward, although Lear commented that in one instance it took him about an hour of searching to locate the object, and it needed to be very delicately removed from some fibrous tissue that it had attached to. That's interesting. It is interesting, isn't it? The objects were examined by a couple of pathologists, and they were sent away, and they carried out a battery of tests: metallurgical, pathology and tissue examination, density immersion, X-ray, energy, dispersive spectroscopy, what can you say it? Isotopic range, scanning, electron microscopy, X-ray, diffraction, pattern, electron magnetic properties, fluorescence. Why do they got to do the fluorescence, really? So now we know that if you hear the word fluorescence, that is associated with the aliens. It is. They observe in both cases that the objects had caused no inflammation. When a foreign object penetrates the flesh, it provokes an inflammatory response around it, which may lead to fibrosis and the formation of a cyst. But there was none of them to be seen. It was as the immune system had been persuaded to accept the objects as an integral part of their body. And we're reading about these implants they found in this people's body. Just so happened this guy had one perfectly implanted in his hand, didn't cause him no problem, right there in his hand. The pathology analysis found the objects were encased in a very resilient membrane. It was gray in color. It was made up of proteinaceous coagulum, can't say the word right, hemosiderin, and keratin. In layman's term, the blood proteins in the cells normally found on the outer surface of the skin. Most odd was that the membrane was contained. It contained nerve and pressure sensitive cells called proprioceptors that were of a different type to those that should have been present in that part of the anatomy. You also. Moreover, under the UV illumination, the encasing membrane gave off a curious bright green fluorescent light. It's really interesting. So if you've got an implant in you that is alien in nature, according to this, and you go under a fluorescent light, like a black light or something, you're going to glow. It's going to glow a color, you all. Right? Is that what it's going to do? Glow a color? I don't know how I got stuck on that screen, because I know that I'm not still on that screen at all. You know what's interesting? When I refresh, let me show you here's what I do. When I refresh my phone, I'm sitting here talking to myself. Let me talk to myself for a second. When I refresh my phone, and I come to the live chat. It says there's only 22 people chatting, which is really strange. 22 people chatting. I guess that's what it means. But that's okay, you all. We're supposed to be watching this right here. So if you got it, you're going to glow in the dark. The test also revealed the objects inside the membranes to have very unusual metallic properties. Well, what do they mean, metallic properties, you all? The implants, the objects that are inside the implants, the membranes, they have an unusual metallic property. They're made up of at least 11 elements, closely correlating with the elements found in the meteorites, you all. They're closely with the elements found in the meteorites. You can see it right there. Which, of course, it strongly suggests that the objects did not originate on Earth, but off-world. Gojo Satoru. What are we doing here? We're talking about being abducted by aliens and finding implants in your body. Do you know of anybody who's had an implant in their body, or perhaps maybe you've had an alien implant in your body? You were abducted by an alien and you don't have no memory of it, but you have an unusual marks on your body when you wake up, and but you got a memory that don't really match these marks that you hurt. Maybe your body's in a lot of pain and you don't even know what happened. All you know is you woke up and you were in extreme pain. And when you went to sleep, you weren't in pain, or you got something wrong with your body. So we're investigating these implants that these doctors have, and scientists and investigators found in people's bodies. And we're talking about the implant in the hand right now. And there was an implant in a man's hand, and there was another implant in this woman's big toe from the aliens. Okay, it may sound strange, but it's the truth. That's what we're investigating. They found the implant in her big toe. And she going to buy a pseudonym. All right, that's what we're talking about. So they were made up of 11 elements that matches those found in meteorites, you all. That's what they're studying. While the analysis was unable to answer the $64,000 question, are the objects alien implants? The results were sufficiently anomalous and intriguing to encourage Dr. Lear to do further research. And along the way, he set up his website and the appropriately titled alienscalpel.com to report on the object. But 17 implants recovered from 16 surgeries, you all. It doesn't come cheap. He set that up as a nonprofit designed to raise funds and manage ongoing surgeries and analysis in all until his untimely passing. He had a very untimely passing in 2014. Over 19 years, performed surgeries on 16 people, removing 17 foreign objects total, of anywhere between 6 millimeter and 10 millimeter in length and about the thickness of a pencil lead. Significantly, all were close to the bone and the skin surface. None were found in the organs or other than deeper internal tissues. He conjectured that the objects were placed there for a specific reason, possibly because the sites on the human body were the most accessible and the most swiftly implanted during the alien abduction routine. We're talking about people getting abducted by the aliens, you all. We really are. I got to get a drink of water. My throat's getting dry. Oh, that felt better. He theorized that a bone skeleton could act as a kind of antennae for communication with the implants. Before the objects were removed, he passed a Gauss meter magnetometer over the side of the implants to detect any electromagnetic radiation coming from the objects, and to his surprise, he found out that they emitted radio waves at the 8 hertz, 14 megahertz, and 19 gigahertz frequencies. Although these emissions ceased within 60 to 90 days once the objects were removed, suggesting that they drew energy from their host body while in place. Isn't that interesting? While the implant is in your body will be its battery. It will be its battery, you all. That's what it sounds like. And they had a frequency, 8 hertz, 14 megahertz, and 19 gigahertz frequencies, you all. So if you're just tuning in, we are talking about implants by the aliens in people's body. And when the aliens do this and you find yourself on the operating table and you wake up the next morning and you have marks on your body and you don't know how they got there, your memory's wiped clean, and or you got pain in your body, chances are they got a hold of you and they put a screen memory in your mind that's called a false memory. If you even think you know, they made it sound pretty good. Really, that's what they made it sound like. Like I got a scar on my hand, on my right hand, right in the center of my right palm. And I don't think you can see it, but it's right in the center of my right palm. And I have a memory that goes with this. I do. When I was, old enough to go to Head Start, right in the center of my palm. When I was old enough to go to Head Start, we lived in Utica, and my sister and my brother and my other sister, well, they went to school too, but we walked to school, and we was walking home when school was out, and I thought, well, I'm going to beat them home because I'm going to take the shortcut. I'm going to go through the woods. I'm going to climb the cliff, and there's the house. Well, they got to the house before I did. Then I came back to the house, and the memory I have is I fell on a piece of glass, and I cut my hand open in the palm of my hand, and it was bleeding, and my mom wrapped it up with white gauze. I told her about that. She said, that never happened. You did not do that. That never happened. I said, but I remember doing that. She said, that never happened. I did not do that. And see, you all could have something, but I've got a big scar in my right hand. I do. But that's what I remember, and I was a little bitty girl. So let's go back to this, you all, because this is really important. People have been abducted, and people's got some memories that don't make sense. And some people's memories, they just got some scary memories, and they wish they had a screen memory to get rid of the memory that they do remember. Really, think about it. Sabrina, honey, what's Sabrina, honey? Calm down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can do it. But I can't do it because I'll pass out if I keep breathing like that. I'll pass out if I keep breathing like that. I can't do it. I can't do it, you all. I can't do it. Sabrina, honey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, you all. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, you all. I will make myself pass out. I will. It's okay, Sabrina. You got this. That's right. All right. So these implants, wow. I didn't know that they have a frequency, a hertz on them, so they can track you. Skeptics, listen to this, skeptics. A skeptic is someone who does not believe. Okay, that's what a skeptic is. They do not believe. They have proposed that a lot of the implants were found in the hands, arms, legs, and feet, which they were, because if people accidentally or unwittingly pick up foreign objects, perhaps in their work, that's when they're most likely to find them. Lear reported that one object did indeed turn out to be a piece of glass, but that's the only one out of 17 that has not been considered of scientific interest. That's right, you all. So if you're just tuning in, you all, people have been abducted. They got alien implants in their body. This person had a twirly thing that looked like the end of an auger with a point at the end, but it was some kind of a coil. It was emitting a frequency, ultra high pitch frequency, higher than the human ear could hear. They removed it from his body. He was having severe back pain. It would keep him from going to work at times. Sometimes he couldn't sleep. They gave him muscle relaxers and stuff and never could figure it out. And he had a hit and run accident, and they took him to the hospital and x-rayed his back. They found it in his spinal column, and that was the reason he had all the pain he had. That's what it was. So Also significant was in no case did Dr. Lear observe a scar which could have marked the entry point for the implants, but something else he did observe was uncanny in the extreme. Two objects, oh wow, appeared to move under the skin during the surgery as if they were trying to avoid extraction. Oh, wow. And one object, when unintentionally broken during removal, actually reassembled itself. Yeah. It actually... They got technology they just came out and told about. You all. No, serious. It's causing me to have my head sweat. Yes, we need some harp. We don't want angels to play this harp. We need some nice, beautiful music. Well, I've not... Oh, wow. You know, this is... You're burning up, Velvet Parker, honey. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. That's right. You'll be okay. You will. Wow. You all, can we read that again? They said, no case did he observe a scar which could have marked an entry point for an implant, but something else he did observe was uncanny. Two objects. You all listen to this. Listen to this. This is very important. It really is. Two objects. You all what? Let me look at myself over here. I've got myself stuck going off the screen. Okay, I do. Let me get myself back on the screen because I've been over there. Half my body's been off that screen. It really has. Okay, let me see if I got my body on the screens a little bit more. Do you think I got it on the screen a little bit more, you all? Let me see if I do. Okay. I might be over here a little bit more. I am. I just don't want to go all the way off the screen. So listen to this. Two objects appeared to move under the skin during surgery as if they were trying to avoid extraction. And one object, when unintentionally broken during the removal, actually reassembled itself. Wow. As incredible as it may seem, this suggests the presence of some sort of intelligence within the implant material. This man, he died. He had an untimely passing in 2014. Over 19 years, he performed surgeries on 16 people, removing 17 foreign objects. One turned out to be a piece of glass, but the other ones weren't. They were all close to the bone under the skin's surface. In 2014, this was the last documented. This is the last time he did something. He died. Uncanny. Had an uncanny death. Oh my gosh. The object, it reassembled itself. It reassembled itself. Okay, let me do something. See, this can reassemble itself. A person-shaped robot can liquefy to escape a cage, then cool back down to its original shape in a mold placed to the ground outside the bars. The robot. 2023 technology could one day assemble and repair hard to reach circuits and stuff like that. Melting, shape-shifting robots. Okay, that's all I'm going to look at. So, okay, they have some sort of material implant intelligence. Not all the anomalous objects were metallic. Lear put them in 3 broad categories: metallic, non-metallic, and biological. 7 fell into the metallic category. Highly significant is that all 7 were virtually identical in shape and composition, which strongly suggests a common source of manufacture. Freshly excised implant with enclosing membrane. This looks like implant after removal of the membrane. It looks like it's a species. It looks like an alien species, you all. After the removal of the membrane, a little bit over 1 millimeter. Wow. Relative size of the implant. It's tall. It's smaller than a grain of rice. Okay. An egg. Images of the implant removed in Dr. Lear's 16th and final surgery in 2007. So since 2007, these last surgeries were done, can be seen on the Coast to Coast. Dr. Lear was frequently interviewed on the radio show. So over the span, you can see he's had this Mosier metallurgical analysis, rare meteoritic metals such as plutonium, gallium, rhodium, iridium, germanium, and ruthenium. Otherworldly nickel found. Nickel is the common extraterrestrial. It's common enough in extraterrestrial, but it possesses an isotopic ratio not to exist on Earth. Another collaborator. They explained they found evidence of a built-in electronic circuitry made of carbon nanotubes. They got another collaborator, materials, you all. Look at this is what happened. Materials scientist and nanotechnology specialist Steve Colbran explained that they found evidence of built-in electronic circuitry made of carbon nanotubes. These are atom-thick sheets of carbon rolled into tubes that, depending on the radius of the chiral rolling angle, can be made to behave either as a metal or a semiconductor used in electronic circuitry. Right there you are. Carbon nanotube in the bodies of the people. Unknowingly, they were test subjects, probably. The stunning discovery can only mean one thing. Someone, this is what they're saying, this means only one thing. I gotta put my socks back on, you all. Let me put not my socks, my house shoes. My feet are getting cold. Sorry about that. I gotta put my house shoes on. I don't want my feet to get cold. Okay, I got it. I got it back. We got it going. Now, we got it. Oh, okay. Gina, that's unprofessional. It's okay. My feet were cold. Just look at this. The stunning discovery can mean one thing. Someone or some entity manufactured them using very advanced technology. Bear in mind, it wasn't until 1991 that carbon nanotubes were discovered by human science. 1991. A third member, you know what? Let's talk about 1991. I was in Berlin, Germany. I had just had my son in December of 1990. In the year 1990 or 91, the Berlin Wall came down. And the two Germanys were reunited. And carbon nanotubes were discovered by human science in 1991, We also had a war that broke out in the Middle East during that time, because the military families, the army, they were deployed. They took all the doctors from the hospital on base, and they sent them over there to the Middle East. And I had my son in a Krankenhaus by a midwife, because there was no American doctors there, no military doctors. And when we had to go to the doctor before, babies, you went to the German doctor. That's who you went to. So there's something that happened. That's a very significant timestamp right there. 1991 and 1990. Something went on, you all. In the world, it did. It went on physically in the world too. Desert Storm, that's exactly right. So a third member of the ANS research team, experimental nuclear physics, Robert Kuntz, sounds like Dinar Kuntz, believes that based on his analysis of all the findings, there could well be an off-world civilization that is responsible for manufacturing and implanting these objects. According to Dr. Kuntz, one metallic object exhibited an isotope variance that mathematically means that it has to have originated from a spot in the Milky Way galaxy around 90 million years older than Earth, and within a distance of 50 light years, give or take a few billion miles. 1 light year is 5.88 thousand billion miles. Our nearest stellar neighbor is Alpha Centauri. Does somebody want to tell us who comes from Alpha Centauri? I know someone knows who comes from Alpha Centauri. What species? Just go ahead and say it. I'm going to let you say it. I'm going to let you say it while I get a drink of water. Go ahead. You had your daughter in 91. Yeah. Active Army in 80s. Do y'all know who came from the Alpha Centauri? Okay. No takers on it? That's right, Michelle Stone, honey. You got it. Her's got it, Mommy. Yes, her does. Her does. Yes, her does. Boom. Alpha Draconians. Corrupt and vicious. Alpha Draconians infiltrated the human society thousands of years ago and are the oldest known reptilian race in our galaxy. Although they came to Earth from their colonies on the Alpha Draconis, their original homeworld is unknown, those upright serpents. They lay their eggs, and they use a battle hormone to accelerate the birthing process. Aliens at Proxima Centauri, a new radio. It's the closest star to Earth, located 4.2 light years away. It's part of a 3-star Alpha Centauri system. Planetary Society. Look at that. Oh, they just so happen. Somebody just so happens to... What did we talk about last night about the radio signal? Really? If you watched the video last night that we did, just go to the middle of it, because that's when we get into the meat of it. Just go to the video last night. It's talking about the observatory. Just go to the middle of the video, because we had information that flowed in from the spiritual realm. And We discussed this radio signal. We did. Look at that. The direction of the radio signal came from the direction of the Proxima Centauri, the closest star to Earth. The Proxima Centauri has at least one planet that may be habitable. There's a slim chance that the signal came from an extraterrestrial being. No. You know it came from them. It did, you all. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. So the doctor leaves an exceptional legacy. Dr. Lear was a very important, very well-respected figure in the UFO ET research field. He gave countless lectures around the world, was the medical advisor to the Mutual UFO Network, featured in the infotainment movie Earth's Original Sin about aliens. He gave testimony at the Citizen Hearing on Disclosure, a seminal event we covered in a previous UFO site. So you all look at that. Whiteley Strieber's hidden agendas. Shocking evidence that the alien implants are real, as told by the doctor who removed them. So you all, there you have it. There you have it. Yeah. There you got it. Right there. And we're just going to go up the page. So you can see this is nanotubes. They found them in the people's bodies, semiconductors, electronic circuitry. This is some of the implants, some of what they look like after the removal of the membrane. That's kind of gross looking, but it was biological. They were metallic, anomalous, metallic. Some were non-metallic and biological. They didn't talk about the biological ones, really. But if you got a biological, you got something moving around in your body. How many of you people on here, you got something moving around inside your body, and you know you're not pregnant, but you got something moving around in your body? Is anybody on here? I'm being serious, you all. Anybody on here has got something moving around in their body that you know that's not just your muscle moving, you're not having a muscle spasm, there's something literally moving in your body. Don't be shy, you all. Don't be shy. No, I'm not talking about parasites. Well, I guess they could call one as a biological thing, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something you can literally feel in your body. The first time I felt it in my body, you all, I was a teenager. I just turned a teenager. I did, and I weighed 98 pounds. And I remember laying on the bed. My stomach was very flat. I put my hand over my stomach, by my abdomen. I could feel something moving underneath my hand on the side of my stomach, as if, you know how a baby moves in your body? Well, this thing was really small. This thing might have been about the size of, I don't know, probably small, about as small as a battery, but it was round. I could feel the roundness of it. I could move it. I felt it all my life, the majority of my life since I was a teenager, moving around down there in my body. Okay, I really did. And I remember going to the doctor when we never did have money to go to the doctor, but when I got older, I remember asking the doctor, could you x-ray my stomach? I think there's something in there. They never would. Never would x-ray my stomach. No, it's not. No, it was none of that, you all. I literally felt like a baby moves. I know what a baby feels like moving in my belly. I had two, and I felt the baby's movement. This thing moved in my stomach. Let me show you. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to show you all. I'm going to show you, you all. It's okay. It's like right here. This is my waist. This is my waist right here. Right here is where it would move. I would put my hand right here. And I could feel it move right in this spot all the time. It was positioned only on this side of my body. Right here. Right here. And it would stay in this one location. Just like that. The majority of and it's still there. And then it wasn't until like I had an awakening here, when I started doing this right here, what I'm doing in 2018. In 2018, I remember laying in the bed and waking up. more or less. And I had this vision, or something happened in my dream state. There's this lady. They stuck these great big things down in my stomach in that area and started digging with these great big needles or something. And I remember being aware, and I said, what is she doing? What is she looking for? And I was saying to myself, she's looking for it inside my body. She's trying to get it out of my body. That's what I said. I knew what she was doing because I know where that is. She kept moving around, and I felt a snip. And I guess she found it. I thought, well, now she's killed it. I thought that. Now she's killed it, whatever it was, because it would move. And I could feel her moving it around. Her needles moving around inside my body, whatever she had. And I guess she stopped. I immediately woke up. I put my hand on my stomach. I said, is it still there? That's what I said. Is it still there? And I got up out of that bed, and I went in the bathroom, and I turned the light on. I wanted to look at my stomach, see if I had any marks on my stomach, to see if I could see. I couldn't see anything. Of course, I probably needed glasses back then. I couldn't see anything, but that's what happened. I went back to sleep. Now, there was times also before that, when I first started this, taking pictures of the ships in the sky, the UFOs, the clip-on lens. Every night for around 2 weeks, I found myself in a ship. Great big ship with great big gigantic windows, great big bay windows all the way across. Every night, I'm sitting there taking pictures of the same ships over and over and over and over all night long. And I would wake up and I'd look in the mirror and I look like I've been awake all night long. Like 2 weeks in a row. Great big gigantic windows up there in space taking pictures of ships. And they'd show up in my camera. I have no scientific explanation of how they showed up, but they showed up. Gina, honey, what are you talking about? Ships showing up in your window, in your phone, you all. I have a playlist of UFO ships. I really do. That I took, and that's how I got thrusted into this area right here that I'm in. And it was wild. I'm trying to see if I can find them. Look at this right here. This right here. Show up in my camera right here. Ships like this, long white ships. I documented them for 2.5 years. They started coming in little by little, then they came in by the thousands. There's thousands of them, you all. Thousands of them. They don't look like our airplanes at all. These are, in fact, in the sky, in the clouds, cloaked in the clouds. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. But we're talking about alien implants in your body. That's what we're talking about. And the implants that they found, the 2 implants were self-assembling. That the guy who had an untimely death in 2014, he performed his last surgery in 2011. And the scientists said that the materials seem to have come from the Alpha Centauri region. That's what they say. They got nanotubes, they found semiconductors, and they had isotopes of the Kuntz. This nuclear physicist, based on his analysis of all the findings, he said there could be an off-world civilization responsible for manufacturing and implanting these objects. And it means mathematically the isotope originated in the spot of the Milky Way galaxy and now 90 million years older than Earth in Alpha Centauri. That's where it's located. Alpha Centauri, you all. What did I miss? You could tell you wasn't there, Christine, honey. They got a hold of you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's what's happening, you all, right here. This guy right here. He performed surgery moving the implants in people's bodies. And it started off, he had an implant in the person's hand, one in their big toe, and it seemed like they had a membrane, and the body The body was the battery that helped them emit the frequency. One was like an 8 hertz. And 8 hertz is what it was. Let's see if we can find it. 8 and 14 and 16 gigahertz, megahertz. Yeah, here we go. 8 hertz. They emitted radio waves at the 8 hertz, 14 hertz, and 19 gigahertz frequencies. But they ceased within 60 to 90 days when the objects were removed, suggesting that they drew the energy from their host body in place. So the aliens are implanting people's body with implants from the Alpha Centauri, which are the reptilians, the upright serpents is what they are. And they got breeding programs going on. So they have people on Earth, and there is like a mothership above the Earth. I'm not just saying it. There's a mothership above the Earth, and they're letting you know that there's been drones, more or less. So gathering data and things. They know what's coming. Okay, you can't say that people ain't been abducted. You can't. It's not make believe at all. It's not. And if they were abducted by aliens or demons or whatever, and then they, took their ovum, they took their sperm, they took their eggs, and they created more beings, hybrid programs. And you think they're just going to leave Earth? You think they're just going to leave? Okay, we got what we want. We're leaving. Go live in peace. Absolutely not. They're not going to do it. They're going to come back. They're coming back. Because they got a crew here on Earth as it is, a big crew of scientists. They got scientists. They got people. They got it all going on. They do, you all. We've been on here. I cannot believe I did an hour and 21-minute video again. I'm sorry. I really am. It's too long of a video to listen to. And it takes up a lot of time. Most people say, Gina, you need to keep your videos. 13 minutes is a good thing. 5 minutes is even better. Because people's attention span is only like around, 2 minutes, maybe, if you're lucky. Yes. Oh my gosh. An hour and 21 minutes. Well, this would be good if you would just sit and listen. Maybe fall asleep. Look at that. Nice story time. Nice story time listening, really, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like short videos. You can't communicate with short videos. You can't really get a lot of information out. I mean, you can, but you can't do no detail analysis. You can't. You really can't. That's right. You got your laundry, Christine, honey. You were very productive. You were a multitasker. Even though you might have been abducted, it did not stop your ability to multitask. I think it's absolutely wonderful that you made the most of this moment. That's right. You can do it. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. I'm going to go, you all, but it's real. There's a lot of people who've been abducted. Have. And it's played with them their whole life. Some are still abducted. Some ain't been having no really good abductions. Some kind of scary abductions. That's right. Thank you, Light Seeker, honey. Yeah, if there's any other moderator. Oh, Ryder, honey, thank you. Oh, Ryder and the Light Seeker, because we can do it. We did it, you all. We did. It's great. So, I like how it played out. Can you imagine that? Alpha Centauri. We got a signal. There is something that has a continuous beam of light coming from a certain place in the Milky Way. It's non-stop to Earth. It's probably a portal traveling to and fro. That's right, you all. You're so welcome. I'm going to go. I am. Okay, I'm going to go. So thank you all. This is more. We got the alien technology in people's bodies, and some turned out to be biological. Some turned out to be implants. They were all implants of some sort, and certain elements, around 11 elements from somewhere out there in the Milky Way. Yeah, and isotopes, and the ones were self-assembling too. were self-assembling. One was trying to evade being removed from the body, so it was an intelligent species inside the body. And the other one, it was broken in half, but it reassemble itself together? It reassembled itself back together. This was like 2011 or after or before. 2011 or before. That's when he did his last surgeries in 2011, and he died in 2014. So this technology has been around, and it is an advanced alien technology from a species not human. Yeah. So it's mass produced now. We got all this technology. We do. And nanotechnology came about in the 1991, and there was a lot of major world events occurring, changes on the earth during that time too. So I'm going to go, and with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you all for your comments. They do contribute to the information that we're documenting here and that we're finding online. They really do. Because people like to read the comments, the live stream comments during the videos to see how people are reacting and what they have to say. Good night, everyone. Love you.